Well, the flat season began at Naas, and it is at Naas on November the 7th that it will conclude. And ahead of the season finale, I've caught up with Colin Keane. Colin, if we can go back to lockdown, just the start of lockdown, the start of the flat season is obviously delayed. Was that very frustrating, and kind of were you bang ready to go because you knew you had some good horses this year?
It was, Johnny. Yeah, a lot of the boss's horses were ready to rock. They were plenty forward, and then to stop with them, it was frustrating and very hard on him to trying to keep them taking over and not knowing when to get them going again. It wasn't easy, but he's done a very good job doing it.
Did you have any idea back then the year that might come about for you subsequently?
No, we didn't. Obviously we had Siskin, and he was the horse we dreamed about throughout the winter, from as a good a 2-year-old as he was, to be a Guineas contender, and to go and do what he did was just phenomenal on the day, we thought.
And Ger gives you every confidence as well.
Yeah, he makes it very easy. He's a very easy man to ride for. He always has the horse in tip-top shape, so he makes the job very easy for me. Now,
Siskin winning the Tattersalls 2000 Irish Guineas just seems like a year ago nearly at this stage. It's so long ago, but that race must have been, was it the best sort of ride you've given a horse this year, or certainly given the stakes, and what was that stake that day and the pocket that you got into at one stage?
It turned out to be a very tactical race. When you're on that type of horse, or you're on the right horse, he makes it easy. Usually gaps are going quicker than the horse are able to get into, but once it appeared, he was in and out of it within strides and quickened up. Which he showed as a 2-year-old, his blister and turn of foot, and he made it very easy for me on the day, I think.
Any moments of panic or concern?
Plenty. Halfway up the straight, and there wasn't a lot of life, but no, we had to sit and suffer. And as I say, once the gap appeared, he was able to get me in and out of trouble within stride, so he was very good.
That was a historic day for you, but were you more nervous for that race, or are you the same approaching that as a race at Dundalk last night?
I suppose we were nervous. A lot of hype. He was an unbeaten 2-year-old, stepping up and trip for the first time, but we tried to approach it as normal as possible without letting it get to or getting too nervous or about it. But no, the boss, he puts plenty of confidence in you. If he's good enough, he'll win. So that's where the instruction's going out. So
yeah, and just for the two of you to have a classic winner, it must have meant an awful lot to him, because you know this is what he strived for, and this is what he wants to be year in, year out.
Exactly. I think you could see that in his interview afterwards. He was stuck for words, and that's not something he's too often. So yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I suppose there was a lot of expectation behind Siskin, but when you went into the Juddmonte Irish Oaks, and even so, she'd run against Laburnum in a very good race at Naas, come out the right side of it. There didn't seem to be much between them, but you had an awful lot of other horses to worry about, and somehow she delivered.
Yeah, it was a completely different, we'll say, build up to that. She was a filly that was progressing, stepping her up to Group 1 company, going 1.5 miles for the first time. And if we got Group 1 black type, that was pretty much the aim, and then to go and win it was just a bonus. It was a completely different build-up, but a very satisfying victory.
What was the Irish Oaks to ride in for a jockey?
It was very straightforward. We didn't go as strong as maybe we thought we would. I had a nice pitch in the middle of them, and I ended up following Shane Foley the whole way around, and we kind of got going from down off the hill and dashed into the straight, and I couldn't believe how well I was travelling for as long as I was travelling. And kind of as we passed the two, I picked my filly up, and she quickened away well, and she was a good winner on the day.
And before we get to your other Group 1 winner this year, just the day-to-day stuff has been so busy. You know, there almost seems to be 2 meetings in Ireland nearly every second day now, and you've had to be, I suppose, alive every day. How have you enjoyed that really busy schedule, just going racing and riding winners?
It's good. It's been hard work, definitely, but no, it makes you get up in the morning, obviously, and keeps it interesting.
And I suppose Champers Elise and the matron, I suppose just to talk about this was not riding for Gerlines, and this has been a feature of your year. You've ridden an awful lot of winners for outside yards as well.
Yeah, my agent's done a very good job sourcing us outside winners this year. We've had plenty, thank God. And yeah, obviously to ride a Group 1 winner for Johnny, a person I looked up to when I was growing up, so to ride a Group 1 winner for him as a trainer now was phenomenal.
Have you been riding better than ever before, or is it just that the stats seem to suggest that?
I'd say a lot of it to do with Johnny is being on the right horses.
But your confidence is, you know, like how many times this year would you have said I gave a horse a bad ride?
Oh, plenty.
Would you? Yeah.
Plenty, yeah.
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 Well, so do you, when you go home after races, do you analyse each race and say, well, maybe I could have done this differently, or?
Well, I suppose you nearly know pulling up what you should have done and shouldn't have done. And I suppose if you're lucky enough to get a go on the horse the next day, you make sure you don't make the same mistake.
Can't but mention as well that you've ridden quite a bit for Ballydoyle, which is another lovely yard to start riding for, and you've ridden winners for them as well, and it seems to be a relationship that's gone well so far.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, with Shamey being suspended and Wayne was out injured, I was fortunate enough to fill in for a few rides and some nice horses I sat in, so I was very grateful.
Is he simple enough to ride for?
He's very straightforward, yeah.
Yeah. What about Ger?
Very straightforward.
Yeah, and just other people you should mention, I suppose. Your dad must have had a massive influence on your career, and who are the people that you rely on day to day? Because not every day goes well, obviously.
Not every day today goes well, no. Obviously, my father, my boss, my better half, she's always there for a chat.
Kerry, we should mention.
Kerry, yeah, or the head lad in work, and I've plenty of friends and family around me. I'm surrounded by great people and my agent, so I think that's a big help.
I suppose this might be a tricky one, but your favourite memory of the season?
Favourite memory, I'd say it would have to be Siskin winning the Guineas. Obviously being an unbeaten 2-year-old, giving us me and Ger, our first Group 1 winner, our domestic Group 1 winner in Ireland as 2, and then to go on to give us our first classic. He's a horse we won't forget for a very long time.